Hi, you guys. My name is Faye, and I need a vacation, and I think you do too. So let's distract ourselves with some reality TV nonsense. Welcome back. I missed you guys. I know I've been gone. I'm so sorry. I have been sick, but well, thankfully, not the whole time. Like I said, life is lifing. There's a lot going on, but I've been sick. I'm still a little sick, so forgive me if my energy isn't, at 300%. But yeah, today we're going to discuss the Real Housewives of Orange County. We are going to be talking about 4 episodes, literally. I think that's the most episodes I've ever done in a video. It's going to be episodes 9, 10, 11, and 12. So yeah, let's get into it. Starting with episode 9, we get a coffee meeting between Jenn and Katie following the whole situation that happened at Emily's house with the lie detector tests and everything. It's really tense from the very beginning. Jenn's already sitting there with her coffee, and then when Katie walks up, she doesn't even say hi, like she does not greet her. All she says is,
"I already ordered."
And I'm like, okay, girl. They get right to it, and Jenn is upset that Katie didn't pass any of the questions on the lie detector exam. Like I said, I do not, feel that those have any validity to begin with, but then the fact that they were administered by those people and in the way that they were, I just feel like it should be completely disregarded. But yeah, Jenn is now questioning their entire friendship and if everything has been a lie. Katie, however, is well prepared. She came in with receipts and she shows Jenn some printouts that she did of that person's website. And she's like, look, this guy actually offers paid acting. And she feels she was set up by Emily and Gina and that the entire thing down to all of the questions were set up. Jenn barely reacts, which shows me that she was already predetermined to, break things off with Katie. Like, to me, that would have been really big news. Like, what? They offered paid acting? Oh my God. Like, especially if that's my friend, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. But Jenn's just like,
well, I'm sure the other ladies would call this preposterous.
And Katie's like, well, it's okay if you don't believe me. And Jenn's like,
what don't I believe?
Katie then pivots and brings up the whole naked wasted situation again and, reminds Jenn that Gretchen absolutely did tell them that she had to go to the hospital and that drugs were found in her system. Jenn, however, is sticking with her story, and she insists that Gretchen only told them that she should have gone to the hospital because she felt so sick. And then Katie's like, yeah, that's her new lie. This is when Jenn lets Katie know that she's really annoyed that she keeps dragging her into things and trying to use her to validate her stories. And she just claims that Katie's making things up. Now, you can tell that Katie is really upset and she's like getting so frustrated that her friend, like she really thought this woman was her friend, is just set on not believing her. Jenn then tells Katie that she just wants her to take accountability, to which Katie responds that she will not admit to something that she has not done. And then Jenn just ends it by saying, well, that tells me all I need to know then. Basically saying, okay, we're no longer friends. Friendship is over. Katie is clearly just heartbroken and she's like, okay, let's just go. When I tell you, I felt so awful for Katie. That was so sad, and Jenn was being so cruel and so cold, and I just cannot believe that she would treat someone she considered a friend like this. Like I said earlier, she already had her mind made up. Like she wasn't even open to hearing Katie out at all. After that, we see Heather, Tamra, and Jenn going to lunch. Heather tells them that she really tried with Katie. No, you didn't. You just didn't. Let's not lie. You were not receptive or open or warm to her at all. When you had that party, you barely even spoke to her. You were still holding a grudge for what happened last season with the whole paparazzi. Jenn then tells the ladies about Katie's feeling that she was being set up and that they, offered paid acting. To which Heather responds that that's ridiculous because just because you do something on TV doesn't mean that you don't have the credentials to do it and that it's not real. And she compares her husband, Dr. Terry Dubrow, being a doctor on television, but also being a doctor in real life, to this lie detector person, which is like the worst comparison. Remember in my last video, I read you guys the article about this lie detector person saying that he's not even qualified, like he doesn't even have the credentials. Like, what are we doing? And it's a difference if someone is just performing their actual normal job on television, or if that person is saying, hey, you can pay me for acting on television, you know? Tamra is the only one that has, I feel, a normal reaction to this. She's just like, I can't speak on that at all. I've never met those people. But she's not immediately disregarding Katie's theory like Jenn did, you know, her friend. Jenn, however, abruptly changes the subject and says she wants to talk to Tamra now and their issues. Tamra's quick to apologize, and she tells Jenn that things don't go deep when you don't care. That's BS to me. I hate that. Like, to me, it's the exact opposite. You know, if you really truly care about a person, there should just be limits on how far you're willing to go. And it doesn't mean that just because you went super low with someone that you care about them. Anyway, after going on and on about how terrible and nasty and vindictive Tamra is all season long, Jenn is super quick to forgive Tamra. They get up, they hug it out. Might I add, it's a little strange, like they kiss on the mouth and then Tamra's hand is on Jenn's butt. Okay, but yeah. Jenn put the final nail on Katie's coffin, and now she's back to being BFFs with Tamra again. In the next scene, Shannon, Gina, and Emily go shopping, and I really wish they, for once, would go shopping in a luxury boutique and not a random store that looks, and I could go in there every once in a while. Like, what is going on? This is the Housewives. And this is not just OC, this is basically almost every franchise except, you know, maybe Beverly Hills. But like they never even buy anything. Even at those stores, they never purchase anything. They literally just use the stores as like a backdrop for conversations. And I'm so over it. I want these people to spend their coin. Open your wallet. Anyway, Jenn also tells Emily about Katie's suspicions. And she's immediately like, oh, what? Because I have the time on my hands? Yes. Yes, you do. Gina says that only a person who sets people up themselves would think something like that. That's just stupid, Gina. Shut up. Emily then goes on to defend herself by saying that she knew none of the questions and that the ladies came up with the questions on the spot. But I think that's irrelevant. It would have been very easy to just tell these paid actors, listen, whatever questions Katie gets, make sure she gets them wrong. Like, you don't need to know the specifics to do that. Emily then gets a call from her son, Luke. Of course, she makes it a big deal. Like, she's almost pathologizing her son literally calling her. Like, that to her is like so terrible. Meanwhile, he's just at home alone and he's bored. And he called his mom, like, big deal. I don't get it. Then she starts fake crying again, no tears in sight, talking about like how she might get divorced over this and it's also hard. And honestly, it just comes across like she just really wants to be a victim so bad. And I think it's pretty nasty to put something like a divorce on your son just because your son is or is not going through certain health issues. Like, to say that that's going to lead you to a divorce, I think that's really unfair. I just hate the storyline. We see one last scene of Katie and Matt. They're in their home, sitting on the couch, talking about the whole situation and about Katie's meetup with Jenn. Katie tells Matt that she believes that Gretchen's and Jenn's hate for Tamra must run deeper than the truth, and I think she's totally spot on with that. Matt then explains how Slade has been texting and calling him nonstop, and he even shows a 43-minute conversation where he's like, what do you think that conversation was about? I'm not just sitting there, you know, yapping with Slade. And he shares that when the ladies were in New Orleans, Slade alerted him to the fact that the naked wasted situation had been brought up, and he told Matt that Gretchen would deny it and that Katie would have to support her and hold the line, like we've heard. Matt and Katie both feel like Gretchen's and Slade's entire agenda is to bury Tamra and that all they want is to make everyone hate her. Katie's sitting there crying like she's distraught about the loss of her friend. She just can't understand like what she's done to her and why Jenn would treat her that way. Jenn, for her part, is hosting a beach day to which she has invited everyone but her dear friend, or should I say ex-friend, Katie. Heather, for some reason, makes a joke about calling the paparazzi. I'm like, girl, get over it, please. Like, we're still talking about this. And part of beach day is playing volleyball with Jenn's son and his son's coach, I believe. Jenn also has this beautiful picnic area set up with flowers and candles and glasses and everything. But guess what? There's no food. Yes, there's no food. There's like one teeny tiny platter of crackers and some grapes, and that was it. Lunch is literally a miniature croissant for every person that she packed in a little cardboard box. Like, be so for real. You are serving these ladies miniature croissants. Wow, like that's just so bad. Like, Jen, you should be ashamed of yourself. Literally, I could have set up a better picnic, like 100% homemade. There's like so much you could do, and this lady sat there and served them miniature croissants. Wow. Anyway, the ladies sit down to talk after they've played some volleyball, and Tamra brings up that even though she passed the lie detector test, Gretchen did admit to both her and Shannon that she did go to the hospital after naked wasted. Now, Gretchen's new lie is that she simply misspoke. So she sits there in her confessional also lying. Tamra, however, sees Gretchen for what she is, a liar, and she also brings up Katie telling her that Matt was told by Slade that Gretchen would deny it and that they couldn't speak about it. Gretchen, of course, denies it and wants to talk to Tamra one-on-one, so they step away from the table. Tamra tells Gretchen that she's just tired with her name being brought up constantly, to which Gretchen responds that she's still upset that Tamra called Slade a deadbeat dad. Tamra points out how that's not something she just made up, but there were actually articles pointing out how Slade owed $160K in child support, and she also reminds Gretchen that Slade was on a stage calling her fat. And then we see a flashback of Slade actually calling Tamra the Michelin Man. When I tell you, I'm so disgusted, like, just gross, man. Gretchen immediately backs off of that, and she apologizes to Tamra for reaching out to her daughter, Sydney. She does, however, want Tamra to apologize to her, which she does, but Tamra does remind her that she has already apologized to Slade, and they had actually sat down together, and we see a flashback of that happening. So I'm like, what is these people's issue? Like, why are we still talking about this? This was solved like 20 years ago. Gretchen won't let it go, however. She brings up the podcast, and she says that Tamra should have refused to talk about the subject at all. But then Tamra is really honest with her and lets her know, like, girl, I don't like you. Why would I do that? Tamra does tell Gretchen that she wants to move forward, but she doesn't want to dwell on the past, while Gretchen is completely obsessed and like cannot let it go. This is when Gretchen claims that Tamra calling Slade a deadbeat father actually has kept him from getting work. Are you serious? Like, are you for real right now? That is complete BS. Besides, Tamra was not the one that put that out there. Tamra actually was just quoting articles. Like, they showed us the articles, you know? And what company would deny Slade work based on the Real Housewives of Orange County? Are you kidding me? I think Gretchen is just being ridiculous at this point. Anyway, they agree to basically disagree and to just have fun, whatever that means. They go back to the table, hand in hand, to shock the ladies. Shannon, meanwhile, sitting there. You can tell she's bothered. She's mumbling,
I guess I'll be the asshole then.
So yes, Shannon, I completely believe that you made that rollover comment to Jen. Shannon does say that she refuses to solve her issues with Tamra in a 5-minute conversation, but that the ladies are more than welcome to do so and that she's been on that ride before. Oh yeah, also Shannon's daughter shows up. Apparently she got broken up with by her boyfriend and is, upset. And for some reason, the ladies believe it's a good idea to share their worst breakup stories to cheer her up. I don't know. I thought it was weird that Shannon even shared her daughter's business like that. But then again, since she did show up, I believe that the daughter was probably okay with that, so it's whatever. Tamra had a pretty funny breakup story though. She was in her ex-boyfriend's house destroying something with a knife, and then she forgot to put the knife back, and she was in the garage with the knife, and then he pulled up with his new girl, and he was like, skirt, put the car in reverse and sped off. Like, that was really funny. That was episode 10. We are making good progress, you guys. Shannon and her daughter are getting facials, and Shannon jokes about the fact that she needs to make sure that her daughter gets enough facials because facelifts are expensive. And I have to say, Shannon, that was a good one. I like your funny side. Can we just have you being funny again? Anyway, Tamra FaceTimes Shannon to invite her to an overnight trip to Temecula. Shannon is very hesitant to accept the invitation, but then in the end, it's Gina and Jenn who convince her to go on the trip. More on that later. In the next scene, Emily and Tamra go shopping. Again, no luxury in sight. Then Emily, of course, starts complaining about having to take her daughter to a cheerleading competition. I'm like, oh my God, like this woman cannot stop complaining about her children. Like, I do not want to judge or criticize anyone as a mother, but why did she have children, multiple children, if, you know, caring for them and supporting them is such a bother to her? Like, obviously being a mother is one of the hardest, if not the hardest job you could ever have, but like it's also supposed to be one of the most rewarding, and it shouldn't make you feel like such a victim to where it's literally your only storyline. Notice you don't see Gina, who, mind you, had to take her daughter to that exact same cheerleading competition. We don't see her complaining about it. That being said, I do have to point out something here. While they were preparing for the cheerleading competition, Annabelle tells Emily, like, I need you to fold my clothes. Like, are we serious? You can't fold your own clothes? And, you know, she didn't even say please. Like, she didn't even ask for her mom's help. She just, you know, let her know, like she was the staff. Yeah, I need you to fold my clothes. Okay, girl. See, you got it. The next scene is Jenn and Emily at the animal shelter. They're volunteering. I have to say, I love this scene. I just love animals. And I think that no one who loves animals can truly be a terrible person. It was nice to see them volunteering. They were cleaning the cats' cages. They took the dogs out to play with them in the yard. And we find out that Jenn has fostered many animals. I think that is so beautiful. I wish we would see more of that, honestly. Emily brings up her child again. And this time she does admit that she has no results as of yet. I just wish, you know, her son had his privacy because I think he deserves that. Emily doesn't agree though. She explains that she has to regulate Luke's emotions by coddling him. And she also claims that Shane doesn't do that. And she's the warm, fuzzy, nurturing one. And Shane is not. Then we see a flashback of Shane telling Emily that she's enabling Luke's behavior, which she probably is, if we're being fair. Then Emily makes this outrageous claim that the therapist told her that the only person in the entire family Luke has an emotional connection to is her. You heard me right. She believes Luke does not have an emotional connection to his father, his sibling, and his twin brother. Like, are you serious? Yeah, and the therapist also said that the only person Luke can talk to is Emily. I don't believe that for a second, and I think it's such a disgusting thing to say. And if I were Shane, that would just gut me. Like, that would hurt me to my core. But we've already established that Emily just loves being the victim. And, you know, she continues crying. Now she's crying about the other children potentially feeling neglected. You know, I think she just needs to stop with this hyperfixation. In the next scene, we see Gina. She's with Travis, and she's packing for the Temecula trip. And she lets Travis know that she apparently told Tamra that she's worried about Shannon's drinking and that she's worried that she may bring it up. She will. The ladies head out to Temecula, and this is just a quick side note. Apparently, Shannon has been missing a tooth for several years, and she even shows it. And I just think that's so bizarre. Like they thought it was funny, but how do you have so much money and you don't have all your teeth? Like, help me out here. And that goes to show again, it's only funny when you're not poor. Because if you're poor and missing teeth, you're, you know, dirty and unkempt and, you know, like low class or whatever. But if you're rich and you're missing teeth, it's like quirky and funny. While the other ladies embark on their trip to Temecula with Tamra, Heather has decided to host her own trip. She's doing a sleepover. She's invited Gretchen and Emily. Heather, of course, the sleepover at Heather's house is going to be luxurious as can be. She has a sleepover butler, and Emily finds him really attractive, and she jokes that she might end up divorced. I'm like, oop, Is that a Freudian slip, girl? Better be careful. Because that's the second time she said that. They then start talking about Tamra, and Emily says that she's insecure and that she's not a girl's girl. While that may or may not be true, I think that Emily is a coward and she would not say that to Tamra's face. Also, Emily herself is nothing of the sort. The ladies then go walking on Rodeo Drive, and we see the luxury stores. I'm like, yay, are they finally gonna go luxury shopping? Heather even jokes that she's in such a good mood that she's gonna buy the ladies something. To which the ladies were very excited, a bit overly if I might add. I mean, I thought you're rich too. But of course, they don't go shopping, and I don't think they did buy anything. At the very least, we didn't see it. A random paparazzi person shows up to talk to Heather and to confirm for everyone that she did not set up the photos that were taken of her at Disneyland. Heather will not let it go. Like, the fact that she's so insistent on re-bringing this up, and like now there's this random person, this random paparazzi approaching you just to confirm your story, that just makes me believe even more that you did set that up. I just don't believe in those kinds of coincidences. They go out to dinner, Heather, or lunch, whatever. Heather shares that she's been taking acting classes and singing lessons. She's really excited about it. She even tells them that she was in a musical. They don't care. Like, they are really weird. You'd think they'd be proud of their friend or excited, but they're just like, well, probably jealous. Emily then stirs up some mess, as she does. She brings up that Jenn apparently asked Emily whether or not Heather just pacifies Tamra because she's scared of her. We see a flashback, and literally that never happened. It's actually Emily who said that about Heather to Jenn. Heather is not fazed. She's really quick with it. She's like,
"What was your response?"
And Emily's gagged. She's like,
I don't remember. I think I might have said that you do."
Heather then lets us know that she's so tired of people saying that she's afraid of Tamra, and she reminds us that she was the only one who actually confronted Tamra about her behavior on the girls' trip to New Orleans. That's true, Heather. I do have to give you your props for that. However, you did so very tacitly, and might I remind you that you actually backed off almost immediately. And I just have not seen Heather treat anyone else with these kid gloves that she treats Tamra with. But we'll get more into that later. And anyway, Heather, also points out that both Emily and Gina crawled back to Tamra on all fours after that trip, and that really was pathetic. We switch back to the ladies in Temecula. They've arrived. Tamra gives Shannon the primary room. She's very uncomfortable at the special treatment that Tamra's giving her. Just accept, girl. Just say thank you. Smile. Shannon also, she brought a bunch of bakeware, like pots and pans and spices and ingredients, utensils. She even brought a blender, I guess, but like, have you never been anywhere? Like, usually the really nice hotels and private estates like the one you're at have all that stuff. And also, no one asked you to cook, but whatever. Anyway, the ladies are picked up by these guys on motorcycles. They sit in the sidecars and they go to a vineyard where they're going to be doing some wine tasting. And Gina apparently really does not drink anymore. Like, she actually asks for a spit bucket and like a non-alcoholic drink. So yeah, good for her. Tamra is making Shannon even more uncomfortable by continuously saying, "Oh, Shannon likes me now. Shannon likes me." Like, it's giving elementary school. Like, it is uncomfortable. It is awkward. They get up to walk through the vineyard, and I have to say, I don't like this thing that Shannon does where she just keeps falling down and acts like she's the biggest klutz in the world and she can't walk. And then even when people are trying to help her up, like, she either makes them fall down or she just keeps on falling down. Like, is that supposed to be funny? Like, I don't know. I get it that Shannon is a klutz, she's quirky, but this is just annoying at some point. It's just not funny to me anymore. Gina brings up the so-called fatty photo of Jenn to Tamra. Tamra pretends to be shocked that the photo was presented as a fatty photo, to which Gina replies that Heather framed it that way. We all know that exactly that was Tamra's intent. Like, you're not slick. And also, I don't know if it's fair to say Heather framed it that way. She was very careful with her words. She just said that it was a picture of Jenn when she was very different and she was heavier. She didn't say fat. Jenn at the dinner table then addresses the situation with Tamra finally, and she asks her once again where they went wrong in their friendship. Tamra says once again that it happened when her and Reddy found out about Jenn and Ryan. It's literally the exact same conversation from last season. I think it's so annoying that the same issues are being relitigated over and over, and the entire season is just the same 4 arguments being had again and again and again. Like, there's nothing new. Jenn asks to see the photo. She actually does find it to be disgusting, and she gets upset all over again, of course. She says that Tamra is very insecure and that she's doing this to feel better about herself. She also lets Tamra know that she doesn't feel like a different person, but she actually feels like herself for the first time of her life. And she questions whether or not Tamra actually likes that person, you know, that's confident and has a voice. Tamra says she does love Jenn for who she is, but she was just doing that out of retaliation. She then starts getting upset and raising her voice because she feels like apology isn't enough. That's like, you know, pattern of behavior, I think, for Tamra, when she feels like people are not accepting her apologies quickly enough. Like, she actually just switches gears and just, you know, goes off and gets really angry and lashes out at them. Shannon now chimes in, and she's yelling and saying that Tamra goes lower than anyone else and that she never takes accountability, and she feels like everyone is forced to kind of accept her behavior. She also points out Tamra's toxic pattern of changing and bettering herself and then just, you know, continuing to act the exact same way she was acting before. Tamra then asks Shannon, what about those 10 years that I was your friend and I was there for you? To which Shannon rightfully replies that Tamra had, you know, thrown that in her face and literally said that she was draining the life out of her. Then Tamra's like, yeah, you actually did. So I'm like, what was the point of bringing that up, Tamra? Anyway, Shannon tells Tamra that now that Tamra hasn't been in her life, she's been better than she ever has. And everyone's like, whoa, that's a lot, that's mean. But then Shannon's like, no, you came after me every single time you saw me a year ago, like about my drinking. And that's when Tamra hits her with the,
well, Gina's worried about your drinking right now, actually.
and that's where the episode ends. Moving on to episode 11, we can do this, guys. The dinner argument in Temecula is being continued. Gina then admits to Shannon that she is indeed worried about her drinking. She just doesn't want her to creep back into those old patterns. She also calls out Tamra, though, and said, I only told you this because I was chastising you for running off, you know, for sneaky drinks with Shannon. Tamra then responds that that wasn't her intention, but she was just so happy that her and Shannon were getting along. And she also says that getting drinks is Shannon's love language. Wow, like, why does no one comment on that? Why is Shannon not offended by that? That's low-key calling her, I don't know. I don't want to say an alcoholic, but that's a lot. Shannon says she's making the decisions that are best for her. Tamra then just asks Shannon what she needs to do to make it better between them. And Shannon just lets her know, like, girl, it's just going to take time. And she appreciates everything she's been doing. And that's how that ends. Heather and the gang are also still having dinner. And Heather admits that she did used to be scared of Tamra, but that's because she reminded her of her father. And apparently Heather's father had a very explosive nature, and he would just go off like in public no matter where they were. It was just very random and disturbing and upsetting for the whole family. She also says that her father lacked empathy and he did not understand how his behavior affected them. Tamra's behavior just reminded her of that. It's made her feel very uncomfortable at times. Heather just feels like Tamra can be very volatile, like you don't know when she's coming at you. This is when Emily throws in that Tamra is just like strategizing, playing chess all the time. Heather then admits that she probably does make allowances for Tamra just because she's used to not upsetting those types of people. After dinner, the ladies go to I don't know if it's a bar, club, strip club, but anyway, there's some scantily clad men. They're drag queens. The ladies are having so much fun. One of the male strippers, one of the male entertainers picked up Emily and was just like, you know, swinging her around. Like, she was having the time of her life. And that was actually really fun. You know, I like fun Emily. On the way back, and this is crazy, one of the ladies was like,
oh my god, we should have done karaoke. Should we try to find a place that's still open?
And then Gretchen is like,
well, let's see, and maybe they have one of my songs.
Because apparently Gretchen used to make music. Then Gretchen brings up that Tamra had also recorded a song. And they're like, when did Tamra record a song? And Gretchen's like, well, when she effed so-and-so in the studio. And then the ladies are like, wait, like, she married? And Gretchen just gives them this like confirming look. And Heather's like, oh my god, that would be bad. So this is gonna come back up later. Moving on for now. They go back to Heather's apartment. It's like a really fun scene. Like, you can tell they're enjoying themselves. Emily and Gretchen are in one of Heather's bedrooms. I don't know if it's the main bedroom, but they're having a pillow fight with her probably ridiculously expensive pillows. And they're actually joking and laughing about how her pillows probably weigh like 200 pounds. And honestly, they really did look like it. Anyway, after they get done playing around, Heather orders the ladies a pizza. Oh my god, it looks so good. Like, oh, I want some pizza. And they sit there eating the pizza, start gossiping. So Emily asks Gretchen about Tamra's song. And she's like, why do you know about the song? Like, why do you have the audio? And Gretchen's like, well, someone sent it to Slade, so he has it. Gretchen then says that they're getting her in so much trouble and this could be bad. Like, girl, you're the one who brought this up. The ladies both want to hear the song. They're like, get your phone, play us the song. So Gretchen's running around looking for the phone and pretends she can't find it for a while. When she does find her phone, she FaceTimes Slade and she's like, the ladies want to hear Tamra's song. Emily then takes Gretchen's phone and asks to hear Tamra's song. Slade then shares that Tamra and this guy, who Gretchen said before Tamra was, effing, were in the studio trying to record a song, but then they started messing around and they forgot that the recording was still going on and they, effed. And yeah, that there's audio of them engaging in relations. So Emily just clarifies and she's like, are you saying that there's audio of them, doing it in the studio? And Slade's like, oh, that's just what I've been told. Emily reminds Gretchen that she told them that they did have the audio. Gretchen then backpedals and lies and tells them, I only said that I heard Tamra singing the song. Even though, I remind you, Gretchen literally told them that somebody sent the audio to Slade and that he has it. Not that she only heard the song once. Emily, she is interrogating this man. She asks Slade if he's heard the other audio, the one of Tamra and the guy, and he confirms that he has. Someone apparently played it for him. Heather then chimes in. She's like, we only wanted to hear Tamra singing the song. Like, I don't care about this other stuff. It's gross. So, that's Heather being a good friend because it is really gross and nasty for no reason at all. They were literally just having fun. Emily, in her confessional, says that Slade is just foaming at the mouth for any chance to talk about Tamra. Meanwhile, Slade, for whatever reason, got a confessional. Mind you, we kicked out Katie, who actually brought something to the group, but now we're giving Slade confessionals. And he's like, oh, I'm not interested in talking about Tamra. I'm just a truth teller. Gretchen then starts realizing what she's done, and she tells the ladies to not say anything to Tamra because that would cause problems in the group. And it's so funny. Heather and Emily are so gleeful. They're like, Gretchen's in trouble. It's too late. Back in Temecula, the ladies are talking about Gina and Travis. Gina shares that Travis has a court date coming up in a month. He's apparently finally trying to get full custody of their children. And she also shared before, we didn't see that though, that the ex saying that their son is afraid of Travis and Gina as payback. What else is going on? Oh yeah, on the last morning when they're having breakfast, the ladies start this whole we're worried about you Shannon thing again, just because she said that she talks to Archie. Like, I don't see what's wrong with that. That's her pet, that's her friend, and I don't know, they're just basically saying that just because Shannon lives alone, they're worried about her. And I don't know, I think that's stupid. I think we all should be comfortable being alone with ourselves. I think that's very, very valuable. And also I think it's perfectly normal to talk to your pets, And it's just annoying. I feel like we had the whole "is Shannon okay" thing last season. Like, let's move on. Tamra asks Shannon if she still goes to therapy. She says yes, multiple times a week. Then Jen wants to know how Shannon goes from being simply angry to going completely off the rails. I don't know why you're asking that, Jen. So do you. So do almost all of the ladies in this group. Shannon then shares that she grew up in chaos, that she didn't know what would happen from one day to the other. She also tells the ladies a bit about when her mother filed for divorce from their father. Tamra then takes that as an appropriate moment to throw out there that Shannon's father had a drinking problem while she was growing up. Shannon is rightfully upset at that. She's like, I don't want to hurt my father. He's 96 years old. He's a completely different man. And she also tells us in the confessional that she shared that with Tamra in private off camera, and that she just can't believe that she would bring that up. And I feel sad for Shannon because they were very, very close, and you do share things with your best friends. And it's just sad that on Mad Day, or when the friendship is over, people will throw things in your face and share your innermost secrets. Like, I would never do that. Like, even if the relationship didn't end well, there's just certain things I would never expose about someone I, used to consider a friend, just out of respect for that relationship. But I guess with people like Tamra, you just gotta be super, super careful with what you share, and just expect it to come out, at some point or other. Gina defends Tamra. She feels like Tamra was not trying to hurt Shannon, but only to help her in some way with that comment. Jen actually agrees with Shannon though, and she feels like Tamra threw that out there so that people would conclude that because Shannon's father had a drinking problem, Shannon must have a drinking problem as well, because it runs in the family. Tamra denies that, but I think that's what she was trying to do. At the end of the day, Gina is in her confessional, and she believes that there has been some progress with Tamra and Shannon, but she does say that while time heals all wounds heal differently. And I have to say, for once, I completely agree with you, Gina. Also, Gina looks so good in her confessional. Like, this is the best she has ever looked. That hair was laid, makeup was done, the color of the dress was just delightful. It was this periwinkle blue. It was giving Cinderella. It was so tasteful. It was so understated. It was just gorgeous, Gina, I have to say. Back at Heather's house, the ladies have woken up. They are served a beautiful, beautiful breakfast by personal chefs. There are warmed pastries, there are bagels, there's a whole lot of fruit, there are fresh eggs and fresh sausages. I do have to say, when they ordered their eggs though, the chef was really irritated. He was like, ew, like, I would never serve that. You want your eggs hard, like you want them done. Like, I'm like, sir, if you don't go in that kitchen and cook these ladies their food, like, what is wrong with you? I'm sure you're being paid more than handsomely by Heather. Like, get over it. Anyway, this is my favorite conversation in these 4 episodes. Emily asks Gretchen if she ever thinks about getting married to Slade. And she's a little caught off guard, but she's like, yeah, I would love to get married. Heather then brings up that when the topic of marriage was brought up years ago, Gretchen was afraid of getting married to Slade because of his financial situation. Apparently, he had a lot of debt. Now, mind you, I started watching OC in season 8 or 9, so I have no idea about any of this stuff, but yeah, apparently Slade was in debt, and Gretchen didn't want to take that on in the marriage, which makes perfect sense. So Heather asks her, like, is the debt handled now? Is like everything, like, are you good? Are you clear? Gretchen says, like, it's not necessarily that they're in the clear and everything's handled, but she just feels more comfortable now. She trusts him. She knows him. In her confessional, though, Gretchen claims that her and Slade were married by an ordained pastor, and she believes that in God's eyes and, of course, in their eyes, they're married. Girl, you're not married. You're not. You are married when you sign on the dotted line, you go to the courthouse, that's when you're married. I mean, I get it. I'm also religious, but no. You did a religious ceremony, that's great, but you're not married, girl. Emily keeps interrogating Gretchen, and I love that. She's like, so is everything separate now, like all the bank accounts and everything? Gretchen says that they've never shared bank accounts. She says that the house is in her name and that she was always very careful to have it that way because she never wanted to be in a position for a man to control her financially. However, Emily wants Gretchen to clarify. She's like, so is he paying the mortgage? Like, is he paying rent? And Gretchen's like,
no, he's not paying the mortgage. He's not paying rent.
Like, she's offended at the thought. Like, excuse me? So basically, you're sugar mama. Like, you have this grown-ass man living in your home that's in your name that you pay for, and he's not contributing anything. Like, nothing on the mortgage. Like, he's not even paying rent. Like, he's a freeloader. He's a hobosexual. Like, I just cannot. And Emily has the same sentiments. She's like, girl, like, he has to contribute some way. Like, he lives there as well. Heather then asks, like, how do you decide who pays for stuff? Like, who pays for the groceries? And Gretchen is really taken aback by this line of questioning. And she's like, I don't know. It just comes out of my account. And like, girl, like, that's insane. Like, you are paying this man's way. Like, and you're not even married. You're just doing all this for free. Heather then has a confessional and she tells us that their financial situation has never made sense to her. That's why back when Gretchen proposed to Slade, they all thought it was BS. Like, another jaw dropper. Like, you are telling me that Gretchen proposed to Slade? She went down on bended knee and proposed to a man? Like, oh my God. Like, I cannot. This is so insane. I have no words. Like, she proposed to a man. She's taking care of a man, has done so since 2013. That's 12 years now, mind you. Oh my God. She should not have come on this show. Like, she should have kept taking her L's in private. Heather then asks, she doesn't ask Gretchen, she just asks in the confessional, like, why aren't they married? Why is everything in her name? Why does she pay for everything? What's going on? Well, Heather, that's called freeloading, being a grifter, being jobless, and you know, being a sugar mama. Heather says to Gretchen, however, that it's just hard to relate because her and Terry are so commingled. Everything comes out of the same account. And Dr. Terry jokes, he's like, yeah, it's like we're the same person. And Emily also shares that as soon as they got married, her and Shane had everything, you know, combined. And that she also didn't sign a prenup. So I'm like, that's good, Emily, you know, because Shane apparently comes from some money. So she did well. I also have to say, Emily looks really good in this new confessional. I definitely have to give her 8.5s. Like, she looks good. And she says in the confessional that she just wants to know, like, what does Slade do for work? Like, what is he contributing? And apparently nothing. The ladies then get massages in chairs. Like, I'm telling you, this sleepover at Heather's house just keeps giving and giving. Like, I love that for them. Gretchen tries it again, meaning she brings up last night, and she accuses the ladies of getting her in trouble by asking her about the pop song. Emily's like, you got your own self into trouble. What do you mean? Heather reminds her that it was Gretchen who even brought up Tamra having a song. And Emily's like, yeah, and you threw out there that Tamra was having an affair with the guy from the studio. Gretchen is now playing dumb. She tells them to stop it and that she knows nothing about that. And she's serious, like, she's dead ass. She's standing on business. Emily and Heather cannot believe what's happening. They're both like, you told us that. Gretchen denies it, and then, you know, because she sees it's not going anywhere, she now blames it on Slade. Even though, mind you, she already told them about Tamra having an affair in the car, like before Slade was ever in the picture. Emily can only laugh, and Heather rightly concludes that Slade is her henchman. Gretchen then sees that her attempt at rewriting history and gaslighting the ladies is not working whatsoever, so she just settles for saying that she admits she should not have said anything, and you know, she asks the ladies to keep quiet about it and to not say anything that may cause issues. And might I say, Katie is so vindicated. Like, the exact same thing that Katie claimed Gretchen did to her happened here. Gretchen got some alcohol in her system, had loose lips, made up some ridiculous story, told some lie, or, you know, if we want to believe Gretchen, told some truth that she wasn't supposed to share. And then once she sobered up, she's like, cover up skirt, put the car in reverse, and the backpedaling started. Like, I never said that, and that's not what happened, and I only said this. It's like the exact same playbook. And she pressures them to keep quiet. Like I'm telling you, it's like the exact same thing that she did to Katie. And I'm so shocked that neither Heather nor Emily caught that. But then again, I guess if you have so much dislike built up for someone, like you just can't even see through that. Emily can only laugh at Gretchen, and she's saying that Gretchen is making them the villains, even though they never asked her about Tamra, didn't bring her up, and she also wasn't manipulated into saying anything. Heather also points out that Gretchen is backpedaling and reminds her that she gave out that information willingly. Emily then actually calls Gretchen out, and she's like, so why are you saying Tamra's this horrible person for accusing you of having an affair all those years ago? But meanwhile, you're doing the exact same thing to her. Like, what's the difference? And Gretchen's basically like, there is no difference. When I tell you, she made herself look so foolish, so dumb, like it was embarrassing. And she is such a liar. Oh my God. And I do have to admit that I'm living for Emily right now. Like, she has been asking all the right questions and saying all the right things. And like, maybe Emily should stay on the show. Like, I want more of this Emily that's actually on the right side for once. We made it, guys. This is the last episode, episode 12. So Gretchen talks to Slade on the phone, and she continues to try to rewrite history. She's intent on blaming Slade for bringing up the whole affair thing and claims she was only talking about the music and is upset with him. You are such a liar, girl. We caught you in 4K, literally telling the girls that Tamra effed so-and-so at the studio way before Slade was ever involved. It feels like all Gretchen is contributing to the season is just lies and her attempts to manage them by, rewriting history and keeping people quiet. Slade apologizes to Gretchen for bringing it up. He does, however, stand firm on his belief that Tamra is a horrible person. I believe he's obsessed with her for sure, just like Emily said. Gretchen then tries to blame Emily somehow, like somehow this is Emily's fault now. Whatever. There's a parallel scene of Tamra and Eddie talking. Eddie and his veneers tell Tamra that he feels like Shannon is just very into herself. She's kooky, all over the place, but in effect harmless. Like, she's not malicious, but Gretchen is actually an evil person. She's definitely a liar and definitely also obsessed with Tamra, if you ask me. We see a beautiful scene of Jenn and her daughter. They're going to get her daughter's first facial, and I wouldn't have, included this in such a long recap, but like, it was such a beautiful scene. First of all, her daughter is absolutely beautiful. Like, she just, gorgeous. And she seems so kind as well. It was so touching because Jenn used this opportunity to ask her daughter to stand with her during the wedding ceremony, and then her daughter started crying, and it just got really emotional. It was a very touching scene. In the last scene of the episode, we see the ladies at a self-defense class that Gretchen is hosting. First of all, Gretchen shows up in a Lara Croft costume. Like, what is going on is so embarrassing. Emily picks up on that also, and she calls it an Amazon Lara Croft costume. I completely agree. We see a little flashback. Apparently Shannon's being targeted by a stalker. Like, why do we know nothing of this? Why is this not a storyline? Anyway, Gretchen has arranged a fake robbery, carjacking situation for the ladies. Two groups. The first group is Tamra and Gina in one car, and then the second car is Shannon and Jenn. And there's this employee from the studio who like fake attempts to mug them. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't think it's funny. I think you could really, really scare someone, and you never know what that does to a person. So like I said, I don't like it. Shannon reacted very well though. The ladies split into two groups. Half of them practice self-defense moves with the trainer and on dummies. And then the other half, they do some shooting with practice weapons and practice projectiles. Amazingly, Tamra is really good. Like, she's hitting everything. Meanwhile, Emily is like, they're standing in front of the targets. It's like, I don't know, like right in front of their faces. and she cannot hit anything. That's hilarious. Of course, the ladies catch each other up on their respective trips. Emily cannot wait to tell Tamra about everything that Gretchen said. First, she only tells Tamra about Gretchen telling them that she had a song, to which Tamra said that it's not like this was something professional. She was just like at someone's house who was having a party or whatever, and he had a studio, and then they were playing around. Basically, it was never meant to be serious. But then Emily drops the rest of that, which is the affair that Tamra allegedly had. Tamra finds the allegations ridiculous. Like, she actually starts laughing. She's like, I want to hear that audio. Jenn is questioning whether or not Emily is just stirring the pot when she's relaying the story, but I have to give Emily her propers. She's actually relaying everything very factually. Like, she's being very honest about what was said. And she also points out how hypocritical Gretchen is. Tamra then confronts Gretchen. Gretchen denies it, of course. Then when that doesn't work, she blames it on Slade again. Jenn sticks up for Gretchen like an idiot. Like, when I tell you, Jenn looks so dumb like this entire season. It's really sad because I actually really liked her. But what did Kenya Moore say? It's almost hurtful to me to see her be so dumb. Gretchen then says she kept her mouth shut for forever, to which Tamra just laughs. Tamra then challenges her to say it all, but of course Gretchen has nothing to say. And in the end, Tamra brings up Gretchen cheating, and things just get really heated, and that's where the episode ends. And we did it. Like, we are done. We did 4 episodes. Thank God. I hope you're still with me. I still had so much fun. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Please do. And I hope to see you in my next video. We're going to finish Orange County. I also want to do Salt Lake City. I will do Salt Lake City. I love that. Keep an eye out for that. And I may or may not do the Ladies of London, but you know, I'm really behind, so I have to see. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day, and I will see you on our next vacation. Bye.